When a prospect brings up a competitor, you find yourself scrambling, kind of, man, I got to prove that I'm better. Low income salespeople, they always make the mistake of immediately trying to defend, or even worse, they start talking bad about the other company and start mentioning all the things that they do wrong. What would happen if there was an easy way to show your value without ever having to criticize or attack a competitor? That's what I'm going to show you right now. In this episode, we're going to discuss a simple technique that's going to help you position your products and your services in a way that's highly relevant to your prospects, but it's also going to give you a powerful edge when you're up against direct competitors. Today, I'm going to share this technique, and it's going to instantly elevate your sales conversations. You're going to learn how asking a few easy questions can give you the insights that you need to demonstrate why you're the better option without ever needing to put down your competitor. Even better, from this point forward, you'll have your prospects telling you why your competition's not that great. I'm Scott Joseph, your host for Business Bourbon and Cigars. And through my work with Me Plus Ultra, I've seen how these questions can transform sales conversations. It's a method I use to grow J&O marketing to over $500 million in sales. And it's one that's helped countless entrepreneurs gain the upper hand that they need, especially in competitive markets. Today, we're going to break down how these questions will give you valuable insights that are going to position you as the clear choice. You're going to walk away with a framework that you can use immediately in any sales conversation. So let me share a real quick story with you. In the early days of J&O marketing, you've heard me say that we had a strong sales team. We provided a ton of support. We had this extensive training program. And the reason I'm doing this episode is because, over the years, I've had a lot of business leaders and owners ask, how did you do it? And while I'm not looking to be a sales trainer, there are a few things that we taught that I believe any business with a sales team can easily apply. These strategies, they're simple to learn, they're simple to implement, and best of all, simple gets done. And that's why I'm sharing this with you today. Because in just a couple of easy steps, you're going to see exactly how simple shifts can lead to breakthroughs and drive results for your team fast. People always thought that our success was built on our team's ability to overcome objections or close deals. But it's the opposite. First off, we truly felt we were, and we still are, the best option in town. But what set our sales team up for success was we positioned our solutions better than everyone else. In the beginning, when we were still learning our way on how to sell and we're up against a direct competitor, a lot of times it put us in a tricky position. The prospect, you know how it goes. They'd compare us to that competitor, right? And I always felt compelled to prove why we were better. I wanted to immediately attack and defend and answer that. And when you're not great at selling, you start defending your product or your service, and you start telling the prospect or client, why the other company wasn't that good. You start telling the prospect about all the things the competitor does wrong. In other words, you're bashing them. Low-income salespeople, they all do this. We did it too in the beginning. But here's the thing. Trying to directly compare and criticize a competitor, it doesn't work. And here's why. Because when you bash a competitor, you're inadvertently you put your prospect in a position where they feel the need to defend their current choice. If they've been working with that competitor for a period of time, or, they'll just start subconsciously justifying why, even if they're not entirely happy. The focus shifts away from your solution and on to justifying their existing relationship, at least in their mind. It's a dead end. So I learned that instead of attacking a competitor, the key was to ask the right questions. And this technique doesn't just position you as a better choice. It provides clarity on what matters most to the prospect and gives you the insights to tailor your pitch. Have you ever felt like you're working harder than ever, but your business just isn't moving forward the way you expected? Maybe you're stuck at a plateau. You're battling setbacks, which they can come frequently, right? Maybe you're dealing with a team that can't seem to align behind your vision. We've all been there. Every day feels like another battle. And despite all your effort, you're just not seeing the growth you know is possible. Here's your chance to change that. Me Plus Ultra Mastermind Group virtual sessions are where high-level entrepreneurs like you, they come together and they solve real problems and generate groundbreaking solutions. So you're going to get an exclusive inside look behind the scenes at how the top minds in businesses tackle their toughest challenges. It's the kind of collaboration that you can't get anywhere else. And it's designed to spark the kind of breakthroughs that you've been craving. But here's the best part. The first 3 people that visit meplusultra.com/hot seat will get free access to one of these mastermind hot seat sessions. I want you to experience the power of real-time problem solving and collaboration firsthand. But don't wait. These spots are limited, and I promise you they're going to fill up fast. Visit meplusultra.com/hot seat and do it now to claim your spot and see how this exclusive session can help you break through the barriers that are holding, your business back. So let's walk through this technique. First thing you got to do, you have to find out, what they value most about their current solution. This is big. So when a customer or a prospect you mentioned, that they're working with a competitor, don't rush to sell. Relax. Instead, ask this one simple question. What are the 1 or 2 things that have kept you loyal to them? In other words, what do you value most about working with them? So you might be asking yourself, well, why would I ask questions that make them talk about good things about the competitor and what they value most? Well, we're going to ask that first, and I'll explain this in a few minutes. But then the next question you're going to ask is you're going to discover where they'd like to improve. And this is where it shifts for you. You want to know where things could be better for them. So ask this, if there were 1 or 2 things they could improve on, meaning the competitor, what would they be? This will give you insight into areas where your competition might be falling short. And these are the gaps that you can fill. So once you get those answers, you want to ask why those 1 or 2 things that they could improve on are important to improve. And once again, we're digging deeper. We're peeling back the onion again. So why would improving whatever they said, blank, right, be important? By not having that, what impact do you think it has on your business? How does that affect you personally? Or by not having blank or not being able to do whatever it is they said they need or want, how much is that costing you? This helps the prospect think about the cost of your competitor's shortcomings. It's essential to get them to realize what's at stake. The reason that you ask what they value most in your competition first is because you want to finish with what they should do better. You want the most current thought in their mind. Wow, the current company I'm doing, they don't do this and they don't do that. And the best part is they're explaining it to you. You're not telling them. What's more true for your prospect? When you say something or when they say it to you? When they say it, it's real. When you ask why and you dig deeper, it makes it more painful. So remember, that's a key point. You never have to bash the competition. Your prospect will do it for you if you know how to set it up the right way. Now that you've gathered all this info, you've positioned yourself, to show your strengths, where it matters most. And the key is to highlight what they appreciate about their current solution. This is your opportunity to show how your offering not only matches, but exceeds those aspects. Also, you can now emphasize where their current solution falls short. So you should be demonstrating how your product directly addresses those pain points, so I don't have to deal with them anymore. This technique allows you to highlight your unique strengths and the true value that you're going to bring to the table. And the best part is without ever needing to put down the competition. You're positioning yourself as the solution that meets their needs better than anyone else. Now, as you do all this, you got to make sure you test close effectively. You can ask yes/no questions like, example would be, can you see by having our solution, you're no longer going to have to deal with this pain or that pain? You want to tie it to where the competition is falling short based on what the prospect told you. But a better approach to all that is to test close where the prospect sells themselves. If you've made the decision today to move forward with us, how do you see, this part of your product? How do you see it helping you solve your problem with blank? And you can fill in whatever they said it was costing them, right? Or the pain that they said it was inflicting. Let them sell it. By having a product, here's another example, right? By having a product that does this, how will that help your company now? How about over the next few years? Let them sell it to you. This is how you make it real. So not only are you presenting what is most relevant, but you're test closing to make sure you're solving their problems and you're gauging, where you're at on the buy or don't buy scale. You want to do this throughout your presentation, right? And close, it becomes easy because your prospect's been telling you yes and explaining why your product is better at helping them achieve, whatever they want. And at the same time, you're helping them avoid their current pains and problems. The client's telling you all this. So remember this. The best salespeople, they don't just pitch. They connect, they understand, and they provide the right solution based on the prospect's true wants and needs. So here's your challenge for your next sales conversation. I want you to use these questions to uncover the prospect's true priorities and pain points. Then I want you to position yourself as the solution they need. If you found value in this episode and you're tired of feeling stuck and overwhelmed in your business, the Me Plus Ultra Mastermind group is exactly what you need. This isn't just another group of entrepreneurs. It's an exclusive community where top-tier business leaders and owners are going to help each other break through obstacles, share strategies, and unlock new opportunities. You'll not only gain actionable insights, but you're also going to build valuable relationships quickly that are going to help you support your growth for years. Visit meplusultra.com/hot seat right now and be one of the first 3 people to claim your free access to one of these powerful mastermind sessions. Don't miss your chance to see firsthand how we can help you elevate your business and unlock the success that you've been striving for. Cheers, everyone.